All right, everybody, I am back for a brand new DC update. And today's is going to be a whopper of an update, I will tell you that. Things have gotten interesting with both James Gunn and David Ayer online, and it's funny to watch. Basically, Ayer is giving James Gunn a slapdown right now with this whole storyboard situation. And we're going to look at some stuff that David Ayer has posted in regards to a Suicide Squad that makes me even more excited and I want to see it even more than I have in the past. And we're going to look at how James Gunn I'm going to stop saying he lied, and I'm going to say he misspoke. And the poor guy can't help himself, but he misspoke on something yesterday, and it still has the internet talking today. And we're going to look at some stuff that they apparently decided to change down there at Warner Brothers that is not good if you are a fan of the Batman. And it got pretty interesting since my last update. I took yesterday off, and I probably shouldn't have. But we're going to take a look at the photos that I have grabbed since my last update. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, first of all, I wanted to show this photo. This made me laugh. Somebody sent this to me and said, I don't know who did this, but it's just pretty funny, just the look on both of their faces and just Batman casually sitting there in his bat suit in the hospital. I thought this was pretty funny. It's just so freaking goofy, the things that people do. And this is one of those things that AI created that I thought was pretty funny. All right, Barry Keoghan has teased his return as the Joker in the DC's The Batman Part 2, which I have no feelings about this. I did enjoy the first Batman film, but I thought it was very, very flawed. I call Robert Pattinson a slow-talking, slow-moving, bomb-in-the-face surviving, wingsuit death surviving, just knock on the front door of the Iceberg Lounge Batman. And there's a lot of flaws to that first film, but it's still an enjoyable film. I am looking forward to seeing more in this universe, particularly with the Penguin movie or show that's going to be coming out on HBO Max next year. And I am looking forward to the part 2 of this. I have no feelings towards this version of the Joker, though. It's pretty twisted, I will tell you that. Now, I thought this was pretty, this is self-explanatory. I will take a huge pass on this, but it says Zachary Levi has been branded. Well, first of all, I got two things I want to show you. I thought this was the other photo. This one's kind of funny. It says Zachary Levi has been branded the most immature man working in Hollywood after James Gunn comment. So I did a video on this last week, or it could have been the week before, where he had made some comments about nepotism with James Gunn. And if you're obviously not a family member, that you're not going to get a job with him, or that being a family member helps. And since then, he's played, and this is what happens when you play both sides of the fence here. Those comments have put him in hot water, basically, and nobody really wants to work with him. He made comments speaking out against the DCU and for James Gunn, and then he makes this comment about James Gunn, and it puts him in hot water on both sides, and now nobody is going to want to work with him. So here's the first photo, and I'm going to show you guys everything in the order that I grabbed these photos. This is the first thing that David Ayer posted, and this is in regards to the Joker from his David Ayer Suicide Squad. He said, Joker is a formidable, intense, and a force of nature in my cut. Not unfocused and silly. In my cut, he has a story arc that hangs powerfully over the entire film. In the studio cut, he's a prop, not a character. And that's exactly what happened. I do know, I followed the production of this movie when it was being done, and I will tell that Jared Leto, he did say that he had over an hour of screen time in that movie, and then was pissed when they cut him down to less than 5 minutes. And that is ridiculous for the amount of effort, time, and just what he put into that character to have it cut down like this. And that was after somebody had asked David Ayer, what are for you the most notable differences in the Joker character in your version that we hope to see soon? And he was very vocal about his version over this weekend. This is just one of many posts. All right, so this kicks off the thing where James Gunn misspoke. And it says, James Gunn says Matt Reeves will be producing projects for both the Batman universe and the DCU. He adds that Reeves is producing the Arkham series for the DCU. All right, now, I've reported on this, that Matt Reeves' Batman universe is not in the DCU. Now, this spin-off show was originally a Gotham City Police Department, a GCPD show, that then morphed into an Arkham show. That was going to be part of Reeves' universe. It is no longer part of Reeves' universe. It is now being taken over by the DCU, so it is going to be part of that Batman universe instead of Matt Reeves' universe. And I am betting Matt Reeves is not happy with this because this was his thing. Now, this goes back to what I've talked about before in regards to James Gunn, how he likes to steal other people's work. He probably saw what they were doing in the Arkham series and said, you know what, I'm going to steal this and use this in the DCU instead. Now, we're going to look at a comment that James Gunn made where he misspoke. Here's another photo in regards to the Matt Reeves thing. It says Matt Reeves will now be producing the Batman sequels and its spin-offs. Batman Caped Crusader, which will be on Amazon Prime. The DCU Arkham series. Also, more DCU movies and or shows. And I'm betting that's an agreement he made with Gunn after Gunn decided to steal the Arkham series from him. Now, somebody asked James Gunn this, please give us more clarity on the Arkham series, because everyone knows and knew that the Arkham series was going to be part of the Batman universe. James Gunn came out and said, I don't know what clarity you guys want. It's set in the DCU. It's been that way since Peter and I picked up the pitch shortly after we first came to DC. We don't have a script yet. And he did say, and I don't know if I grabbed it, but we're going to find out here. So I looked and I don't actually have the quote, but James Gunn in this same exchange had said that somebody called him a liar again. And this is where I say he misspoke, because he did. Because he said that the Arkham series has always been part of the DCU. But that is definitely not the case. So he has egg on his face yet again. Here's where somebody basically caught this and said the lies caught up with him. Here's Matt Reeves in March of 2022 stating that the Arkham show is connected to his Batman movie. We've actually now moved into the world of Arkham as it relates, coming off of our movie. And yes, I actually saw that video where he talked about this and this interview. And yes, they were going to move full force with this. But James Gunn decided to steal it for his own DCU and is now claiming that it has always been for his DCU. And that is not the case. All right, so here's some more David Ayer stuff. And right after James Gunn had posted that ridiculous storyboard, David Ayer went online and started posting storyboards from End of Watch, which is actually a really good movie. And you can see how much better they are. Now, he doesn't come out and say he did this because of what Gunn did, but you know what he's doing here, guys. He's showing him up. There's no question about it. Because he didn't just stop there. He posted a lot more than just that. So David Ayer came out and said, now when, shit gets real, I bring in the grown-ups to help plan out our shots. He said it was a stolen scene in a sense. Had to stuff it into the photography. Last sketch shows the 3-wall setup I wanted built. This told designer what to build. Told the painters and decorators what to finish. And lets camera and AD know it's a 3-scene setup. Sketch isn't 4, and I didn't read the rest of this. But he's showing all of these storyboards that he did, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to look through those. On that note, here is a picture that David Ayer released, an unreleased version of a Joker photo from the movie, where he definitely had a much bigger role that we never got to see. I am so hoping we get to see this movie someday, but I can almost all but guarantee, with Gunn in control, we're never going to see this movie. Here's another storyboard that David Ayer had in regards to an Arkham interview scene quick setup sketch. So he's posting all this stuff. You could totally tell he is trolling James Gunn, which I think is freaking hilarious. And it just goes to show you how ridiculous that post was and how people just don't do this very often. And James Gunn is always trying to grab that limelight, which is, it's weird. That sketch was bizarre that he even posted that. So one more thing I wanted to show in regards to David Ayer, and then we're going to look at some other news. Somebody came out and said, I've come to the realization that David Ayer is a big wuss and he will never get his cut released. David Ayer said, even so, I really hope you can see my real feature film. I know you see my work as a disaster, and you have every right for what you saw. Don't lose faith, buddy. I give you the opportunity to judge my real work well. We can discuss the best tactics for dealing with a multinational company, but I follow my instincts, and yes, sometimes they are wrong. Like all human beings, I have my flaws. With compassion, we reach the goal. There's something I've noticed about both David Ayer and both him and Zack Snyder. These guys are gentlemen to the max. They do not backtalk the studio that they have worked for. They refuse to do it, and they play within the rules, and patience often wins out. And I hope it does for David Ayer. I really want to see David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Now, this was the first photo. I thought this was the first photo that I was going to talk about in regards to Zachary Levi, and this is the thing I want to pass on completely. I really hope this does not happen. It says Zachary Levi pitches Shazam buddy comedy with James Gunn's DCU Green Lantern. No, 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 no. Green Lantern is not a comedy. Green Lantern has never been a comedy. No. Huge pass. If this actually gets made, a lot of people are not going to be happy with it. So Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom star Jason Momoa gets honest on returning as Aquaman in future DC installments. He said, the truth of it is, if the audience loves it, then there's a possibility. But right now, it's not looking too good. I kind of see where I want it to go, and even in the next 10 years or so, there's a lot of cool things they can do. And I do enjoy the role and the world. So, it just comes down to if people love it. These are parroting the same comments that, I don't know how you say his name, the star of Blue Beetle, what he said about his movie, what Zachary Levi said about Shazam. And they all know that these movies are going to tank and that they were going to tank. And it's all because of James Gunn and that reboot, okay? You pissed off all the fans when you got rid of Henry Cavill and the lies you made about Ben Affleck. And so, yeah, the audience has turned their back on Warner Brothers because of the way the studio has treated the audience. And this is sad, coming off of a $1.2 billion movie for the first one. Biggest hit DC has ever had for movies. And then we go to where we are today. This movie is going to tank, and it's really sad. I am going to see it, and my review will be up on Thursday as soon as I get back from the movies seeing this. But I don't hold out a lot of hope. This movie looks like it has an identity crisis because, the last Asian trailer they released was amazing. Looked very serious, really well done. But then the couple of scenes that they've released are nothing but joke fests, and it looks terrible. So it looks like there is kind of a tonal issue with this film where it doesn't know whether it wants to be funny or serious. So this is going to reiterate some of the stuff I've talked about in my last couple of videos. George Clooney says he's done playing Batman. I don't think there are enough drugs in the world for me to go back again, which is kind of a funny statement. But look at the little smirk on his face. That's not Batman. All right, before I get to the last part of the DC news, I did want to chime in here on the Rotten Tomatoes issue with Rebel Moon, and I've done a couple of videos, and if you guys want to see those videos, they are available to go watch in regards to the whole Rotten Tomatoes fiasco. But this says, IGN and other critics are facing backlash for their reviews of Rebel Moon, with accusations of bias and unprofessionalism. Criticisms such as labeling fans as fanboy cult and Snyder cultists have ignited concerns among viewers, prompting a broader discussion about Rotten Tomatoes. And yes, Rebel Moon reviews, critics face bias accusations sparking credibility concerns. This has been going on for quite a while, guys, and it's awful. They're not honest reviews, and I pointed that out in those videos that I did. Here's the full thing. It says, have ignited concerns among viewers, prompting a broader discussion about the credibility of movie critics. The incident highlights growing skepticism about the objectivity of professional reviewers and their lessening impact on shaping public opinion. And it's true. They are less reliable than the actual audience is. I care more about the audience score, and oftentimes the audience does not mesh with what critics think. They have become irrelevant entirely. But even on the Rotten Tomatoes website, the audience score can't be trusted either, which is unfortunate. Right now, here's something I wanted to bring up, and I saw this on Twitter, and I had to post about this. So I told you guys that article with Zack Snyder where they said he was done a couple of weeks ago, and I told everybody you got to read between the lines and understand what he's saying, that he is not done and that they didn't get an actual quote. I believe that David Rooney was the writer of that article. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. And someone posted up some tweets that David Rooney has done in the past, and it shows how he is an anti-Snyder guy to the max. He said, "Me too, whereas I can happily wait several lifetimes beyond death without ever seeing another second of anything Zack Snyder directed." Another comment, "I feel like that when every Zack Snyder movie, though the sinking feeling usually comes 5 minutes in." He goes on to say, "Richard, I'm shocked. Hack, sorry. I mean Zack Snyder. Also, I love 28 Days Later, which pretty much resuscitated the zombie movie single-handedly, way before The Walking Dead. Saw that at a midnight show in Union Square and then got freaked out walking home to Chelsea." And then goes on to say, "There are a few things that perplex me as much as hack Snyder worship. I thought Man of Steel was a war crime that soured so many fond memories I had of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, at least the first two." So this is the guy that they chose to write that article. And you're trying to tell me that there was not an agenda behind it? There was definitely an agenda behind it. And it's crazy that these people are out there acting like professional reviewers, but they show so much unprofessionalism. Now, somebody just asked James Gunn, "Do you think lack of DC content in 2024 is going to kill the brand?" James Gunn said, "I think it's great for us for the reset." So it's a reset. It's not a reboot. It's now a reset. Again, make up your mind on what you're doing. Man, just the lack of professionalism by professional reviewers and a lot of these outlets really has a lot of people, looking at this, realizing how much of a sham it is. And I've reported on that. It's just crazy everything that's going on right now. The amount of stuff that the studio is doing that they're trying to just pull the wool over our eyes and claim, "Oh, this was mine to begin with," when it clearly wasn't. Those James Gunn comments. Like, it's getting crazy out there. Yet we have stuff that people have never seen that people want to see, like David Ayer Suicide Squad, and the studio's holding on to it. And I guarantee you they're going to let their universe start before they ever think about releasing it. And it's a shame that this stuff is sitting in the vault ready to be released, but we don't get a chance to see it, that they're not capitalizing on that. Instead, they're going to try and make this thing work, and then when Superman Legacy bombs, yeah, people are going to get, the studio just doesn't realize. Well, I don't know if they don't realize or if they're just that hard-headed. I'm beginning to think they're that hard-headed, that they're just going to ram through whatever they want to do, and they don't care what the audience wants. They don't care what the fans want. They're doing their own thing, and they just don't care about anything else. They obviously don't care about money. That's clear. All right, so what do you guys think about all this stuff that has been released? That Hollywood Reporter article, the stuff going on with Rotten Tomatoes, David Ayer showing up, James Gunn lying about everything. Well, sorry, misspeaking about what's happened in the past with these projects and what they're supposed to be a part of. Like, it's pretty crazy. You just got to laugh at this stuff anymore. It's pretty asinine. All right, guys, there's my update for the day. I know it's a long one. There was just a lot of stuff to go over. I do appreciate all the support. We will see you guys on the next video.